Ever since we moved to Mongolia and started growing chilies here, there's been a chili sauce that I've been searching after for such a long time. Last year I was able to make a small batch and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. So this year I can make a much bigger batch, and that is a Tabasco style buffalo sauce. And this is such a great sauce if you're doing some chicken wings and you pour it all over. It's a fantastic, tasty sauce. I'm so excited to make it. So for this buffalo sauce, we're gonna definitely need Cayenne chilies. Last year when I grew Cayenne, I didn't grow enough. This year, I definitely grew enough chilies. So I have gone to go and pick some cayenne peppers fresh from the greenhouse. I also have some that I've been saving in the freezer. And when you're making a fermented hot sauce, you can add in frozen ones, but you want to make sure that you're using around 50% fresh to 50% frozen. I'm also going to add in some other chilies for heat and for flavor. This one is a African bird's eye chili, peri peri. I'm going to add in 70 grams of that because the cayenne peppers are between 20 and 30,000 Scoville, so they're not very hot. Where these bird's eyes are a lot hotter, about 2 or 3 times as hot. I'm also going to add in 3 7-pot Primo chocolates, a little bit extra flavor and a lot more heat because they're nearly 1,000,000 Scoville each. If you wanted to do this and not have the sauce so hot, you can leave these out. And if you wanted it hotter, you can add more in. I'm also going to add in about 10% of garlic. For this fermentation, we're going to do the classic brine fermentation. The reason I'm doing a brine fermentation is I still have some cayenne peppers ripening in the greenhouse. So in a week or 2, I'll be able to come back to this fermentation and add those to this fermentation so I can have more sauce. Let's get this fermenting. So for this buffalo style sauce, what I have picked is I have 370 grams of fresh cayenne chilies. I have 370 grams of frozen cayennes, and I've let them come up to room temperature. Here I have 70 grams of the African bird's eye chili, and here I have 3 of the 7-pot Primo chocolates, and here I have 82 grams of fresh garlic. So I want to chop these up. Going to keep them all separate for now, and I'll show you the next process. What I've done is I've washed them thoroughly, taken away all the green bits, and then we're going to chop it up into pieces. So now that we have all the chilies cut up, we can start to put them into the containers. And the reason why I kept them separately is I'm actually going to be using 2 glass containers instead of 1. The reason, it was just hard to find the right size container, and finding containers here is really hard. So we're repurposing glass containers that we have. And I want to fill up as much as I can so I can put the brine in so I don't have a lot of headspace or lots of empty liquid space. But it's okay to have as 2 because later on you will see we're going to combine them all together. Let's get the chilies into the containers and then we can start making up the brine solution. So what I'm going to start to do is I'm going to actually start to layer them up. The reason why is because the frozen ones actually don't have any lactose facilis on it because it's been frozen, so the lactose facilis is dead, where this has it. So that's why you want to have a 50-50 mix. So I'm going to try to get a 50-50 mix in all of them. It doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to mix them all at the end anyway. For the brine solution, I'm going to do a 2.5%. So to work that out is basically put on a jug and I'm going to level it out. So I'm going to put in 1 kilo, which is about 1 liter of water. So that's 1 kilo of water for 1 liter. 2.5% is 25 grams of salt. I'm using Himalayan rock salt. You can use sea salt. don't use iodined salt. You want just natural salt. 25 grams. And to mix it up. So you can fill it up quite high and shake it around a little bit. Want to get out as much of the oxygen as we can. So I filled it up a little bit under the top, so there's a little bit of airspace in there. When you're doing fermentations like this, a lot of people do weigh it down. I found it's not actually 100% necessary to weigh it down, as long as there's not much airspace in there. After it starts fermenting, every couple of days or every day or so, just give it a shake so you're keeping it moist, and that will be fine. For the airlocks, to close this off, what I've actually done is I've taken two of the lids and I've made holes in it. These are used mostly for fermenting. All this has been sanitized. If you're sanitizing everything correctly, you won't have a problem. So these are great little airlocks. So I've made it attach. I've made it to work for this, just like that. Make it airtight. Perfect. Now when it starts fermenting, it can come out and air can't go in. What I'm going to do too is just put a little bit of star sand in there. Just like that. Now we have the two containers. I'm just going to stick it in a dark area at around 19 to 20 degrees. I'm going to let it ferment for a couple of weeks, and then we'll come back to it and move on to the next stage. Can't wait. It's been 1.5 months since we started this fermentation. Now we can start to actually move on to the next stage. I made these ones because I couldn't really find a container that was good to fit this amount of peppers. I was also planning on making another batch and kind of adding this together a few days later, which I actually didn't do. I ended up making two more completely separate a few days later. But what we're going to do is we're going to start on this one. To make a Louisiana buffalo style sauce, we're going to be adding quite a lot of vinegar to this. There's a special process that we're going to do, but first we need to mix this up, and then I'll show you how we're going to mix everything together with the vinegar. First, what we want to do is we actually want to open up each one of these, because of course they are not together, so I want to check each one. And as you can see, there is no white yeast on them, which is really great. They both smell wonderful, so I'm happy to mix them together. So let's get them out. The reason I mixed it down a little bit first, because I wanted to know the volume of the peppers that I have. It's about 1 liter of peppers. I want to add in 1.25% of that in white distilled vinegar. So I have 1 liter of mash, so I want to add in 1.25 liters of vinegar to this. We start off with 500 and mix this really, really good. Now that we have mixed this up really, really good, we're going to move this over to a bigger container. What we're going to use this container for is we're going to use this for helping all the flavors to come out of the chilies into the vinegar and help it emulsify. So I have this big glass container. I also have this stir plate. I have this food grade magnet device that pops into here. And what that does is it allows me to put that onto the stir plate. And when I turn this on, it will start to swirl and mix the sauce together. And that's going to, of course, help to bring out all the flavors and help to emulsify the sauce. So let's get the sauce in here. Plus I have a little bit more vinegar to mix up. So now everything is mixing up. That little magnet is turning and helping it to keep mixing. What I'm going to do is now just put it in a safe place, put some plastic on it so dust can't go in here, and let that emulsify and bring out all the flavors from the peppers. And then we come back to this in a couple of days and we can taste it and bottle it. Really exciting. Woo! This smells fantastic. Finally, the sauce is ready. It has been mixing now for over a week. So all those flavors of the chilies have come out into the vinegar. Actually, what I did is I took that second batch that we had and I blended it up and I just added it to this. And it has been mixing on the stir plate with the stir bar for over a week. And now it is ready. What we're going to do with this sauce is we're actually going to strain it. We're going to take out all the seeds and the pips and the skins. We're going to take that out so we can have a beautiful, clear, clean buffalo sauce. To filter this hot sauce, what we're going to do is we're going to actually pass it through this fine mesh sieve into another container. Everything that I'm going to be using has been sterilized and sanitized, so I know that everything is clean. Let's open this up and pass it through. Oh, the smell is fantastic. What we want to do is we want to just push it through so we can get as much of the liquid out as we possibly can. And what we're going to be left with is seeds and the skins. This is magic. Don't throw it away. This I'm going to put into little ice cubes, stick them in the freezer, and every time I make some nice spicy food, a curry, a chili, or something like that, take this and pop it into your food, and it's going to give it fantastic, fantastic flavors. All right, let me pass the rest of this through, and then we can come and have a look at the sauce. After straining it, this is our beautiful buffalo sauce that we have. The color is amazing. The smell is absolutely incredible. This is going to be really, really nice. Now that we're done with this, all we need to do is just stick it in some bottles and it's ready. So finally the sauce is done. It came out amazing. I'm glad to have a few bottles of this. Of course, we will have a few bottles on our Facebook page for sale if you want to try it out. But the last thing we need to do is to taste it and see how it came. Definitely smells like a buffalo sauce. Wow. Pretty good. Very, very happy with that. Wow. Definitely a buffalo sauce. A little bit hotter than usual, which is really great. I think this is going to be perfect for some chicken, maybe over some bacon and eggs in the morning. Here in Mongolia, put this over some bots or some hosho. Fantastic. Really happy. Turned out exactly how I wanted it to be. So guys, thank you so much, and we will see you really soon in the next one. Bye.